Hello everybody, welcome to Doni in the Park. I'm Doni, nice to meet you.
Alex.
Okay, where are you from now?
Originally North Carolina, but I live in Brooklyn now.
When did you move to Brooklyn?
3 years ago, from Los Angeles.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So guys, so tell me like a quick rundown of like where you at in life, when you moved,
Oh, God.
basically like the easiest question.
Oh,
These are guys.
it's okay. Yeah, I moved to New York partly because I missed seasons. I grew up with seasons. You know, LA, you have 2 seasons, fire and awards. And so I just missed, winter and fall. And my oldest daughter lives here, so that's part of the reason I moved here. But yeah, I've lived and been to some strange places
Yeah?
that just aren't normal places.
Can you give us some examples?
Kyrgyzstan.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What drew you there?
I was on a mission trip there.
What's that like?
A Christian mission
Wow.
trip, yeah. And it's weird because they're Asian in appearance, but they po-ruski. It's like, wait, what? You speak Russian? Yeah.
That's fascinating. So are you still missionizing now?
No, I mean, I was just there on a short-term mission, so I've never been a missionary in that sense of, whatever. So, yeah.
Do you feel comfortable talking about your faith? And also
Sure.
I noticed that
Clearly.
yeah. It's also just like your
Plus, I have
heart, too.
tattoos that be like, okay. Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. What do you want to know?
Yeah. So how long have you been drawing this for? What draws you to it?
So this started during COVID. Before that, I've been an actor most of my life, and before that, I was behind the camera. So telling stories is kind of what I've always done in terms of just as a profession. Plus, I'm a songwriter as well. And so this started during COVID. A friend was painting live on Facebook, and I was just watching for something to do because you could only watch so much Tiger King. And so 9 years ago, I lived in Austin, Texas, and we had 6 chickens. And so that's who this is. This is one of my chickens that I started painting. And if you saw the first couple hundred I painted, it would be like, oh, did you paint that with your foot? Because that's not good. But I just, had a lot of free time during COVID. And so and then it just became the character that I'm sort of living through. And then, because I played other characters, and most of my job as my acting career, I played a character in a campaign. And so this is basically the character I'm playing now. I'm playing a chicken. And so these are all little pieces of my life. So it's not just random things I thought. There were things I've lived through, been through, experienced. Some are sad. Some are like, oh, this man has some food issues. So,
Are there any ones that sticks out particularly that you want to expand on?
well, my favorite is the one that says God knows. And that's all it says. And mainly because that sort of is the encompassing thing for my perspective of life. So when I encounter difficulty, it's like, well, God knows I'm going to be in this situation. And if I believe in the faithfulness and goodness of God, then I'm going to be okay.
Have you always felt that way?
No, I used to have a real anger problem.
Yeah.
Not anymore. So that's been sort of
Lucky
fun.
for me. So was it like a specific event or just gradually over time?
No, over time. Yeah, I mean, I became a Christian when I was 15, and and there's just that journey that's been most of my, all my life almost. So, yeah, and difficulty. Life. I've had cancer. I got hit twice on my motorcycle on the highway. So, yeah, good times.
Oh, yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so, how did you channel that faith to give you hope during those times?
Well, a lot of times I was hopeless, to be honest. There was an article I had read during COVID called 7 Ways to Fight Debilitating Hopelessness, from which I was struggling. Because I was by myself, my kids are grown up, and I was divorced. And one of the things the guy mentions in the article is, be the encouragement you need to hear. And so some of these were things that I needed to be said to myself. And so it's almost like self-therapy almost.
Yeah.
So, and then some are funny because I have a weird sense of humor.
No, that's funny.
Like a lamb flown with milk and honey will be really sticky.
Yeah, I like that one. I noticed it. Wow.
But yeah, so that's how I'm sorting my life out. To a chicken.
And also, you mentioned before that you love storytelling.
Yeah.
You're an actor behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, is that just like a natural urge you have? Is there do you remember when you were younger you had that as well?
Yeah. So when I was a kid, when I look back and think of my favorite toys, there are toys that required imagination. And it wasn't like, oh, I really love playing Risk or Monopoly, whatever. I still have my Matchbox cars, which were these little toy cars, and I still have them. And I would go out in my backyard and just create this world. And, you know, that was, even then I was creating a story. And so just as, you know, as play, that was what was comfortable for me and fun for me. I didn't intend to do that. I mean, it's not like I deliberately thought, oh, I'll, you know, tell stories for a living, but that's just how it ended up. And it wasn't until I was older, looking back, that I go, oh yeah, that's what that was. Yeah.
Also, in that you mentioned about a big part of it's imagination. That's what you love about storytelling.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes like view the continuation? Obviously, this is pretty cool storytelling. Of like also like an attempt to try to continue that imagination and not lose that.
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the things for me that was so revealing during COVID was to continue to learn. And because I just recently started playing the electric bass, and I didn't know how to play the bass. I'm 63, so it's like, yeah, that's when you want to start. But if COVID taught me anything, was that I could learn something, you know, out of my comfort zone. And there was a great book called The Artist's Way that for me was kind of life-changing, because it's just a book about creativity. It's not about how to be an artist, but it's about creativity in general. And one of the things that I, you know, came to understand was how I express creative things, and everybody is creative. We're born by a creator. We are creating. So that's indigenous to all of us. And I think finding an outlet for everyone's creativity for me was so freeing and fulfilling. And again, I never thought of it as a career, but here we are. I mean, I've been doing this for 3 years, and I've sold thousands of books, which is, if you told me this 5 years ago, it'd be like, is that like a fever dream? What am I, selling chicken? What am I, hillbilly? I mean, just, it's been a strange one.
That's awesome. So like, when you could like, look back to 18, I guess that's the age I am.
Yeah.
And that's the beginning when you're starting that life and moving all the places behind the camera, in front of the camera. What do you think you would tell that person looking for?
Boy. Yeah, that's a tough one. I think try things that take you out of your comfort zone. I mean, if it's something you really have an interest in, try it. I mean, even if you fail, that's fine. At least you learn. I mean, I have a piece of art up there that says, "You're never useless. You can be used as a bad example."
I like that one too.
But it's true. You're like, okay, yeah, I know I'm not good. Like, I put a roof on a house one time to learn. Oh, I shouldn't do that for a living. I mean, you learn.
You're probably pretty wet when that happens.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah. So yeah, I think it's take risks that will expand your worldview. Travel if you can. Not everybody has that privilege, but yeah, if you can get outside of your comfort zone, I think it's the best way to learn what you're capable of. Absolutely.
Not to flip that question on a little bit. Okay, also now you have this new season you're going to be doing this, and when you have your daughters here, when you're thinking about your legacy, what do you think that you want to be able to do?
Boy, I think hopefully it is joy, because what I try to impress upon, folks with the art here is hope and joy. Finding joy in little things. I mean, there's one that says, what's the secret to happiness? Lower your expectations. I mean, that's pretty true though, especially as you get older, because when you're younger, you're like, especially here in the West, we think, you tell your kids, you can be anything. Well, I'm never going to be a power forward in the NBA. I mean, it's just reality. I can want it, but I won't get there. So I think be the best version of yourself. That would be and there's one over here. It says, live a life you want to remember. That would be another. Again, all these are like little wisdom things.
Hey, it was great talking.
You bet, Donnie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Of course.
Yeah, wow.